Merci beaucoup d'être venu. Mes pensées aujourd'hui sont avec les victimes et les familles des victimes de Paul Bernardo qui doivent revivre le même cauchemar avec ce monstre. Après la décision de permettre à M. Paul Bernardo de quitter une prison de sécurité maximale. Tout d'abord, je dois reconnaître que le blâme ne reste pas avec la commissaire qui a annoncé la décision aujourd'hui. Elle a mis simplement en pratique les politiques et les lois adoptées par le gouvernement libéral de Justin Trudeau. Le politique de Justin Trudeau, qui est encadré dans la loi C-83, oblige les services correctionnels de mettre des prisonniers dans des environnements les moins contraignants. Donc aujourd'hui, la commissaire a dû suivre les directives de Justin Trudeau et son gouvernement et de transférer M. Bernardo dans une prison de sécurité médium. La solution est très facile et très évidente. Ou bien le gouvernement Trudeau peut exercer ses pouvoirs de rédiger une directive, ou bien le gouvernement peut adopter la loi conservatrice C-423 qui obligerait tous les meurtriers multiples de rester dans une prison de sécurité maximale. C'est un outrage que le gouvernement Trudeau a une politique qui permette des meurtriers multiples d'aller dans les prisons de sécurité médium. M. Bernardo devrait être dans une prison de sécurité maximale pour le reste de sa vie. C'est ça le moindre de choses qu'on peut faire pour les victimes. Justin Trudeau peut facilement le faire sans s'ingérer dans un cas particulier. Il peut le faire avec une politique encadrée dans la loi qui forcerait tous les meurtriers multiples de rester dans les prisons de sécurité maximale. Thank you very much for coming. My thoughts today are, of course, with the victims and the families of the victims of Paul Bernardo. Today, they are again reliving the nightmare that he exacted upon their families so many decades ago. Today, the Trudeau government reaffirmed that Paul Bernardo will be freed from a maximum security penitentiary to go into a medium security one where he'll have more human contact and more freedom. Now, this is not a decision I blame on the Commissioner. She was just implementing the law that Justin Trudeau passed. Bill C-83 requires the Commissioner to give the least restrictive environment to all prisoners, including mass murderers. That was a decision that Justin Trudeau made. The solution is very clear and very obvious. Either the Trudeau government should issue a directive, which is currently in its authority, to require all mass murderers stay in maximum security penitentiaries, or they should adopt Conservative Bill C-423, which would do exactly the same thing. That bill would mean that every single mass murderer would go into a maximum security penitentiary, and it would require no interference in any particular prisoner's case. It is a simple and obvious principle, and I commit today that when I am Prime Minister, I will adopt a law keeping all mass murderers, just like Paul Bernardo, in maximum security penitentiaries where they can do no more harm and where they have no freedom to harm other people. Paul Bernardo should leave prison in a box when he's dead. He should never be out of a maximum security penitentiary. To allow it is an injustice to the victims and their families on whom he exacted his terrible outrages. This attitude of Justin Trudeau that favors criminals over public safety is playing out on the streets of Toronto, where a young mother recently lost her life to a stray bullet from a repeat violent offender who was out of jail despite more than a half a dozen violations of probation orders and many other serious violent crimes. A Poilievre government will end Trudeau's catch and release system, put the most serious repeat violent offenders behind bars to bring home public safety for all Canadians. Thank you.
Pierre, I want to ask you about, you mentioned C-83. It passed around the same time as C-75.
Yes.
Which said that you have to have the least onerous conditions for bail.
Yes.
Is this just their vision of public safety rather than an attempt to actually keep prisoners behind bars?
Yes, this is Bill C-75, the catch and release law, has turned repeat violent criminals loose onto the streets of Toronto, Vancouver, and everywhere else, and caused crime and chaos. And C-83 has allowed Paul Bernardo and possibly other repeat violent offenders and mass murderers to be released from maximum security to more freedom in a medium security penitentiary. This is the wrong approach. We all believe that a first-time offender who makes a small mistake when they're a teenager deserves a second chance, but these are mass criminals that Trudeau is determined to either move into lower security prisons or back into our streets. And that is one of the reasons why we have this crime wave today.
We'll take the next question
Yeah.
here.
The Correctional Service Canada says that it actually followed all the rules in the Bernardo transfer. Would you change those laws or policies regarding CSC? And if so, to what? And if you can answer in English and French, please.
Yes, thank you. And the Correctional Services is right. They did follow all the rules. Justin Trudeau wrote those rules. He's the one that passed C-83, requiring that prisoners get the least restrictive environment, and that includes mass murderers like Paul Bernardo. And he has the power to overturn his prior mistake by sending a directive today that all mass murderers should go to maximum security penitentiary. He could adopt the Conservative private members bill from Niagara Falls MP Tony Baldinelli to require that mass murderers stay in penitentiaries, maximum penitentiaries forever. These are decisions Trudeau could have made, but he didn't. And as a result, this is his decision to allow Bernardo to leave a maximum security penitentiary. When I'm Prime Minister, I will reverse this policy so that all mass murderers stay in max security penitentiaries for the rest of their lives. Oui. Merci beaucoup. Les services correctionnels ont raison sur une chose. Les politiques qui existent obligent le transfert de Bernardo des prisons de sécurité maximale. Mais qui a rédigé ces politiques? Justin Trudeau. C'est sa loi C-83 qui oblige les services correctionnels de transférer Bernardo. Donc, M. Trudeau peut renverser cette loi ou au moins rédiger une directive obligeant que tous les meurtriers multiples restent dans des prisons de sécurité maximale. Ça permettrait de garder Bernardo dans une prison maximale, en même temps de ne pas ingérer dans un cas particulier. Merci beaucoup.
Mr. Poilievre,
Yeah.
the people that did their best to be here starting time, could you just give me your message again?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for rushing over. Today, the victims of Paul Bernardo are reliving the horrific nightmare he exacted upon them as the Trudeau government decided to transfer him out of maximum security penitentiary into more freedom in a medium security penitentiary. This decision is an outrage, but it is not the fault of Correctional Services Canada. They're just implementing the law that Trudeau passed, C-83, which requires the least restrictive conditions for all prisoners, including Bernardo. Trudeau has the power to reverse that law or issue a directive saying that all mass murderers should be in a maximum security penitentiary. He could do that today, and Bernardo would be back in a maximum security penitentiary tomorrow. but he's decided not to. He's decided to allow Mr. Bernardo the freedom and human contact of a lower security prison rather than keeping him in a maximum penitentiary for the rest of his life where he belongs. I will pass a law requiring all mass murderers stay in max security until they die. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Do you think that Correctional Services Canada Commissioner should have personally notified the public safety minister about the transfer of Bernardo instead of leaving it?
I believe she did notify his office. It is entirely Mr. Mendicino's fault that he wasn't doing his job. His office was informed weeks before the transfer. If he didn't know, he's incompetent. If he did know, he's lying. Either way, he should resign.
On that note about being informed, this is not the first time that Liberal Public Safety Minister has said that
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
there's not
It's okay. Yeah, it's all right.
It's not the first time that a Liberal public Safety Minister has said, well, I wasn't informed personally. It sounds like they want the briefing notes read to them.
Right.
Is it their responsibility to actually read the briefing notes presented by CSIS or CSC or any of these groups?
Yes, obviously that it's the job of a minister to know what important information is coming into his office. We know now that the office got the information weeks beforehand, and Mr. Mendicino expects us to believe that his staff did not. They were walking past him every day in the hallway. They were briefing him every morning. They forgot to mention that Canada's most notorious mass murderer was being transferred out of a maximum security penitentiary. I'm sorry, that is just not credible. Either he did know and he's lying, or he didn't know and he's incompetent. Anything else?
Thanks everybody for coming on short notice.
All right, thanks everyone.